The paintwork is very thin and in a couple of years it appears a lot of scratches and chips. Body iron does not like reagents with which we sprinkle roads in winter. Under their influences, the car rusts quite quickly, so anti-corrosion treatment will not be superfluous. Chips that appear must be immediately treated with a rust converter and painted over. When inspecting the car body for corrosion, pay special attention to the trunk lid, under the license plate, wheel arches, door edges, elements around the headlights. You should also look under the door trim. The vast majority of copies on the secondary market are cars with gasoline power units 2.4, 130 horsepower, cars with diesel engines 2.0, 150 horsepower, and 2.8, 95 horsepower are a little less common, but cars with a gasoline engine 2.0, 122 horsepower, great rarity. Both gasoline engines are licensed copies of power units developed by the Japanese company Mitsubishi, installed on Pajero and Outlander. The 2.4 motor is equipped with a timing belt drive. To avoid breaking the belt and damaging the valves, change the belt every 60,000 kilometers. Also, quite early, up to 70,000 kilometers, the pump, idle speed controller, crankshaft sensor and lambda probes can fail. These problems arise with improper operation and use of AI-92 gasoline. Diesel engines are very reliable, and in order for them to work like clockwork, it is enough to change the oil and fuel filter every 8,000 kilometers. Glow plugs have a source of 70,000 kilometers, injectors 100–120,000 kilometers. If oil consumption increases on a run of 90–110,000 kilometers, pay attention to the intake manifold gasket. The Great Wall Hover is equipped with a 5-speed manual gearbox and an automatic one, only on the H5 and with diesel engines. Unfortunately, mechanics cannot be called an absolutely reliable unit. Most often, owners blame the performance, noisy transmission and fuzzy gear changes. Also, there are comments on its reliability. On a run of 70–90,000 kilometers, shaft bearings begin to crumble. And if you have to repair the box, then most likely it will be necessary to change the bearing of the primary, secondary and intermediate shafts. Such a repair will cost $3,500 USD. Also, before buying a hover with a mileage of more than 70,000 kilometers, check the shaft seals. The clutch of this car lives for a long time. During normal operation, it will last 100–120,000 kilometers. The cost of replacement in the service will cost $60–100 USD. There are quite a few cars with an automatic transmission, and to date, no special shortcomings and breakdowns have been identified. The suspension of the Great Wall Hover has never been famous for its special comfort, but in terms of cross-country ability and unpretentiousness, this car is very close to real CUVs. The cross-country ability is at a very high level: low-boosted engines, a strong undercarriage, a connected front axle, and most importantly, a reduction gear allow you to safely drive on difficult or off-road conditions. Ball bearings and silent blocks of levers. Racks and stabilizer bushings, wheel bearings, turret ends are quite hardy and can last up to 100,000 km. Silent blocks of the rear suspension on average are inerts a little more than 80,000 km. To replace them, you have to remove the gas tank. The front brake pads run 20,000 km, the rear ones 40,000 km. When replacing, be sure to lubricate the calipers, otherwise they will start to wedge. The steering rack breaks extremely rare, but the power steering pump has received a lot of criticism since it has not been changed every 100,000 km. Replacement will cost $150 USD. Some craftsmen, in order to save money, change only the bearing, which costs only 10 CU. Crickets are not uncommon in the cabin of the Great Wall Hover, which intensify during the cold season. Door upholstery creaks especially often, as well as fastenings of the rear seat backs. I was pleasantly surprised by the sound quality of standard acoustics. In this component, Hover outperforms even more expensive competitors. Also, there are no complaints about the reliability of the electronic equipment of the car. If you are the owner of this car model, please describe the problems that you had to face during the operation of the car. Perhaps it is your review that will help readers of our site when choosing a car.